So, for all brands out there, then, from your insights, expertise, what's working well right now in meta ad creatives and what's no longer cutting through? And you can talk about like UGC content or any kind of trends. So, kind of tell us what's working and what's not working, Charlie. Or is there no
So,
answer? Is it all like completely category and product dependent?
oh, I could give you a very politician's answer here, couldn't I? But I'm not going to do that because that's boring. Um, what I tend to say in this space is really like a lot of on organic, particularly, a lot of people will follow trends, and I think trend chasing has a place in an organic strategy because we talked a little bit about making content to try and encourage that virality, and you can absolutely jump on like trends to help speed up getting viral posts out there. However, trends change all the time. Trends change really quickly. Who's got time to be monitoring trends and creating content over and over again to kind of chase the trends and keep up with them? Especially from a paid perspective. With paid advertising, a lot of it is about optimization. So you need time for the algorithm to find the right audience for this ad, and then it will stabilize. If you're changing those ads all the time because you're trying to keep up with trends, you're just chasing your tail, and you're not going to have any stability, which long term will have negative impact on performance. So one of the things I talk about a lot, and I know a lot of advertisers will disagree with me, and that's cool. Come from me in the comments, and I'm really open to like hearing other alternative views and alternative ways of approaching stuff. Like I'd love to chat it out. But for me, I think chasing trends for paid social is not a good use of time because things change. What doesn't change is the human brain. So the limbic system is a part of the brain, the first part of the brain that ever formed something like 300,000 years ago, and it hasn't changed for 300,000 years. It's also the part of the brain that really kind of influences our behaviors and decision making. And yeah, it's not changed for 300 or 1,000 years. So I would strongly suggest that you spend a bit of time learning about consumer psychology rather than chasing trends, because then you're going to be able to create ads that have much more longevity, that are going to be able to serve your business on a more like evergreen basis, but also that actually tap into real emotions and real experiences rather than trends that, yes, can be entertaining. Yes, they can be funny. Yes, they can elicit emotion if it's the kind of trend that works with your brand. And yeah, like I said, can make somebody laugh or make them feel entertained. But you're not going to be able to have the same real deep emotional connection you can have with a person or a potential customer by kind of tapping into behavioral psychology. Now, the one thing I say with that is like, with great power comes great responsibility, and don't be a marketer that abuses that like ethically. That's just super questionable, in my opinion, completely wrong. Like for me, it's not about making somebody feel so terrible about themselves that they have to buy this product to solve that problem. Like if you're going to tap into consumer psychology, do it from a place of like, I don't really know what the right word is. I just think people can
Positivity.
misuse it. Yeah, exactly. Positivity and just ethically, I'd say,
Mm.
because it is really powerful stuff, and it's not stuff we should play with. I don't think we should be, playing with people's emotions. But if your product or service does genuinely help to solve a problem, understand how that affects the end customer's life and talk about that. That's going to have much better longevity for your performance as a brand than chasing a trend that's going to kind of expire in a couple of weeks. So, in terms of trends of what's working, I would say consumer psychology always works. Um, like trust building always works. So, if you have reviews that you can use, like testimonial overlays, like referencing a Trustpilot score if you've got it, if you've had press mentions, if you've been featured in any magazines, that can really help to build trust. So, trust building is always a winner, I'd say, in paid social. What I'm seeing a lot of success with at the moment from static images is actually they're what I call like multi-message executions.
Mhm.
So something like us versus them, where you have maybe 3 points about your unique value proposition and how that helps the customer. So you can actually then tell them 3 reasons to buy, basically. And why I think this tends to work really nicely in static is because if you were trying to do that same thing in a video, you would maybe need a script of like 20 to 30 seconds, and people don't watch videos for 20 to 30 seconds. Whereas in a static image, you can get quite a lot of information across in a really scannable way. And actually, then if the user decides this is worth paying attention to, then they can stop for longer. But in a video, you wouldn't even get to, the average watch time, I'd say, for most ads, if you're doing a good job, I see in ad accounts is maybe like 5 to 7 seconds. But if you've got 3 points, you might take 6 seconds to explain the first one. So they would never even get to like the final one. So I think multi-message executions and static images are doing really well at the moment. Be careful, don't overload with text so that it's like an essay that somebody sees and is like, gosh, I can't be bothered to read that scroll. So, use it with caution, but that works really well for statics. In terms of video, UGC is the hot topic at the moment. UGC is dead. I see that probably 3 times a day on LinkedIn. That's not my experience. Consumers are becoming more savvy. Think about your own experience is what I would always say on a newsfeed. When you scroll through and you see an ad that looks like user-generated content, watch it and think about how you feel. Do you think, oh my God, this is so corny, like this is obviously scripted, no thank you? Or do you think, wow, this content creator is like super engaging and is giving me a snippet into their life and this is really interesting and I want to see behind the curtain? So there are lots of different ways you can do UGC. Sometimes it feels really authentic, sometimes it feels really inauthentic. And what we are seeing is like consumer or like social media consumer behavior is moving away from that really scripted, inauthentic UGC because they can see right through it now. Influencer partnerships, especially with celebrities, you can spot it a mile off. Oh, I love this flash cleaning product. Oh, it's awful. It's so cringy. And now, as we consume content on social media, we can spot that as consumers. We can spot that a mile off. So if you're creating ads, like really look at it as if you saw it in your newsfeed. Don't look at it as the creative strategist or the brand owner and think, would I stop and watch that? And if the answer is no, probably not going to perform very well. So keep it authentic.